Welcome back to Burn Peak. I'm Seth, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, but kind of the same. I have here a set of mountain bike wheels, and they're pretty ordinary. There's a carbon hoop, there's actually a really nice Industry 9 Hydra hub, but something that's not ordinary about these wheels is that they have the world's lightest bicycle spokes. But they're not just light, they're really weird. And so today I'm going to explain to you all about them and what makes them so weird. First, I gotta take the old wheels off my hardtail so that we can test them. So, it's with a heavy heart that I take these wheels off my bike because I actually love these wheels. These are Crank Brothers Synthesis alloy wheels, been testing for over a year and they've been flawless. These bird wheels have pretty big shoes to fill. So we're ready to get started here. We're ready to test these wheels, but first, there's a fair bit of geeking out that we have to do because there's a lot here. So first of all, as I said, these wheels are laced with these polyethylene spokes. Just imagine like a little piece of nylon rope. That's what each of these spokes are, but there's a little bit more to it. There's a metal piece in each one that it kind of wraps around. It fits into the hub over here just like a normal spoke. And of course, if these weren't tight, it would just flop around just like this. So it's actually the tension of it that holds everything together. And that's kind of a cool thing. If you're on a ride and you want to take a spare spoke with you, it can just be like this. You can stick it inside your handlebar or something like that. Now, there are some advantages and disadvantages to polyethylene spokes. So stop, I know what you're gonna say. Seth, what happens if you ride through a lava pit with these wheels? Well, they would break. You probably shouldn't do that because like kind of a nylon rope, if you were to hold a lighter to this, it would just disintegrate. But otherwise, they're very strong, they're very durable. Trail debris is supposed to just be able to hit into them and bounce off. Really doesn't give you any disadvantages in terms of strength. And like I said, they're extraordinarily light. So let's start by weighing these wheels as compared to my old ones. So both wheel sets have rim tape and valve stems, that's it. It's not an apples to apples comparison because these are alloy wheels, but they're pretty much like the best alloy wheels you can get. Let's see what these weigh. 2.04 kilograms. So let's weigh the bird wheels. These already feel a lot lighter, just like picking them up. Whoa, 1.41. That is considerably lighter. Now, part of that might be due to the carbon hoops, but carbon and alloy wheels these days are actually pretty similar. I'd say that's mostly the spokes. And mind you, both wheels have Industry 9 hubs. So as you can see, these are remarkably light. They're supposed to be really strong. We're gonna test that. They're supposed to provide a little bit of compliance. So when you're going into turns, they'll actually flex a little bit and take some of the sting out of the carbon wheels. We're gonna see if that's a gimmick or if it's actually the real deal. Now, with all those advantages, there are bound to be some disadvantages, so let's talk about those. So as I already mentioned, one of the main disadvantages is you cannot ride through lava. These will just snap, and I guess that also includes fire pits, open flames, anything like that. But that's not all. It's also more difficult to lace up a wheel with these spokes because if you turn the spoke nipple to tighten it down, it's gonna wind up the spoke. And so they actually provide this handy little tool and you can hold the spoke in place while you tighten it up. Now, once you lace up one of these wheels, you can actually put normal spoke tension meter on it and see them actually reducing in tension. They stretch out. So after you lace the wheel, you have to go back and tighten them all back up to tension and then they stay tight. So fair bit of extra work you have to do to build these wheels, but lucky for me, these are already done. So another thing to note, if you look closely at these hubs, on the flange where the spoke goes in, you can see there's a little bit of silver there, as if the paint has been scraped away. Indeed, it has been. Before you use these spokes on your hub, you have to actually ream out those holes so there aren't sharp edges on them. And once you ream them out smooth, then there's no chance of it actually cutting into these polyethylene spokes and causing wear on them. Now back to the advantages, because this is a polyethylene spoke, it's basically a synthetic fabric, you can dye it different colors. You can use tie-dye. The sales rep actually told me that. And so I got some tie-dye over here. Now, of course, this being Asheville, very easy to find tie-dye. They sell it at every gas station, every convenience store. You can get it pretty much anywhere. So I got some aquamarine colored tie-dye. That's sort of the accent color on my hardtail. And I want to dye one spoke aquamarine. So as you can see, we dyed this spoke and some parts of it are sort of rejecting the dye. And I think you would need like a few coats or have to soak in it. So dyeing a spoke on the bike is gonna be difficult, but we're gonna try. I've never like tie-dyed anything in my life because I'm not a dirty hippie, but I know a lot of dirty hippies and I should have leaned on their knowledge. Yo, Alex, what's going on? Yo, you know how to tie-dye stuff, right? Working. I think we got this dialed. Oh, yeah, look at that. You know what I just remembered? I gotta be really careful not to lay down the heat on this thing. Spoke will blow up. I don't know what it looks like on video, but close up it doesn't look that good. All right, enough arts and crafts. Let's put these wheels back together. Now, because I ride my hardtail a lot and I've had the same setup for a while, I'm keenly aware of what it feels like. And that's why I wanted to use the same tires. Take the tires off the old wheels, put them onto the new wheels so I have the same sort of contact with the trails, so I can really make a comparison. Listen to that Hydra hub. i9 just keeps coming up with crazier and crazier sounding hubs. It doesn't look bad. It looks a little bit like silver spokes, but like more vibrant. I suspect this is the last time they're gonna look this bright. Let's stare at it for a minute. All right, so I guess all we have left to do is go out and smash. Let you know what I think. Sometimes people are really open to the power of suggestion and they're like, yeah, it feels different. I think it feels different. It's not, there's no question it feels different. I'm sure they feel different. I'm just having trouble putting my finger on what feels different. It's almost like the difference between a transistor amp and a tube amp. Like it's like a warmer tone. It's weird. Yeah, this is, I think it's a different feeling. Wow, okay. Okay, that was different. It was almost like smoother. One thing's for sure. Climbing feels exactly the same. It's a good feeling. I don't know if it's objectively better. I don't know if it makes me faster, but I know that the bike feels really good. And especially it being a hardtail, sometimes you'll go through a turn that's kind of chattery and your wheel's kind of skipping across it. Still does, just like it did before. But that feeling feels different. It's almost like, just feels different. It's like the natural resonance of the wheel is different. That's the best way I could describe it. It feels cool. But I'm curious about something else. Pretty dry day, but I'm surprised at how well these actually repel dirt. I'm just taking dirt and like, just rubbing it into the spoke as hard as I can. And for sure, you can see this one's like bright white and this one's not bright white. I'm wondering if it's gonna just wash off and look white again. I mean, I would really like to get this dirtier, but it's like, stuff doesn't really want to stick to it. No, it still looks pretty dirty. Let me see if I put some alcohol or something on it, if that like gets it out. So what I would guess happens if you have the white ones is that they all get a little bit off-white, because like, I don't know what it looks like on video right now, but I would venture to guess that if I went like this, you wouldn't be able to tell which spoke was the dirty one. That's not too big of a concern, but personally, if I were gonna order these wheels, I'd probably order them with black spokes, although they do look pretty cool on this bike. All right, I have some thoughts. So Bird wheels, without riding these long term, I don't know what happens when you run into some bad luck. Some really bad things kick up, you ping the rim. I don't know if they're gonna hold up because I haven't been riding them long enough to get some really bad luck. But I can tell you how they feel, and they feel good. I don't know if they're gonna make you faster. I don't know if it's gonna give you more compliance through turns. I have no scientific evidence for anything. The best way I can describe it is what I said before. It gives the acoustics of the whole bike sort of a different tone. Now, if you are really stretching your budget and trying to get some wheels, I would get something that's tried and true. But if you're an early adopter with plenty of money and you're trying to build up a really unique bike, this is a part that you should look into, because it gives the bike a different feeling, gives it a different look, it's a conversation piece, but you are definitely gonna have to be an early adopter to run Bird wheels or Bird spokes. This is purely subjective. I think these are really cool looking wheels. First of all, the Bird logo is cool, and I like how they put the logo 90 degrees to the valve stem, because if you align your tire brand to your valve stem like you're supposed to, it weights it better and it looks good when the bike's parked there. Is that gonna improve your performance? Only a little bit. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope you learned something today, and if you didn't, I hope you at least found it entertaining. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time. All right, let's take a different route so we can really feel out the trail here. Ooh. I don't know if it feels different to me or if I'm just imagining things. Too soon to tell.